Don't think healthcare professionals have any business experience? Think again. No topic is off limits as we share tales from our brave hosts who will always tell it like it is. We are #NoFilterHealthcare. Here to guide you through your healthcare journey are your hosts, Taylor Dunn and Tamara Dhanda. We want to thank our sponsor, Uptime Health, the leading healthcare equipment and compliance management software company, for bringing this podcast to fruition. Visit uptimehealth.com to learn more. Let's get started.
Welcome to #NoFilterHealthcare. I'm your co-host, Taylor Dunn.
And I'm your other co-host, Tamara Dhanda. And today we're going to be talking about smart devices. Are they the future of healthcare? I mean, I think so.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much technology out there. I feel like, first of all, it's like a consumer's paradise, but also it can be so hard to choose like what device to use and for what. And so I hope that today's episode helps people, understand the importance of smart devices, but also some ideas on how to find the best ones.
Well, even to clarify what it means, because we don't even realize, like, okay, for example, the term IoT connectivity. When you say that to someone, half the time they don't know what that means. Yeah, I definitely did not know what that meant. I had to understand what it meant. And it's funny because almost half the things in my household are IoT connected devices. So, you don't even realize that you are using smart devices in every aspect of your life. So I want to kind of talk about what it means to kind of start. So IoT, Internet of Things, basically it's like a network of your devices that can send and receive data. So for example, in my household, we have like a Ring doorbell camera. So that's sending data back to my phone, telling me that someone's at my front door. So that's a perfect example of IoT connectivity. If my refrigerator can report to me that I'm out of milk, I've seen those refrigerators, which I don't own, but maybe one day. But like there's just so many things. It's crazy. But now, I'm so happy that it's such a large part of healthcare because we need it. If we need it in our refrigerators, we definitely need it in our healthcare devices and things that are taking care of patients, because it's only going to improve patient care at the end of the day. So
yeah, I mean, and to be able to prevent certain issues, like I think it's one thing to tell you when someone's at your door, but can it tell you if there's somebody planning to come to your door? And I know that's a bad example, but thinking about that in the healthcare context, if you are at risk of developing strokes in the future, or you have fluctuating high blood pressure and all of those things that really matter to your health, those are things that you want it to, send and receive data so it can predict, right? Like, okay, here's a spike in your blood pressure today. Maybe you need to watch that, right? Like what can we do to fix that? So for preventative maintenance and preventative healthcare, I think it's just so important. So yeah.
I just learned about something I did not know existed. I might be late to the game, but I'm happy to admit that. I heard about this tooth mounting device that like they literally put it on your tooth and it stays there and it helps dentists and you as well understand your diet and how it's affecting your teeth, which is crazy. Like it'll track how much you're consuming alcohol, which is scary. It's a scary thought. I don't know if I want to know that. Also how much sugar and salt intake, all things that affect like your enamel and your teeth. And it's just like crazy to me that we have these things now. And then another thing, I don't know if you've heard about this one. There is a toothbrush that will send pictures of your teeth to your dentist.
I don't want that.
I don't either.
If my dentist is listening, sorry, I don't want that.
I'm like, could you imagine you're brushing your teeth and all of a sudden you're hearing it take pictures of your teeth? It's like, oh God.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like mini celebrities in there.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm like, this is wild. I did not know these things existed. I mean, maybe they're too new or something, or I don't know, very expensive, but they are there.
Absolutely. But I think overall, it's just the idea of, having these great innovations in the space that can truly help. And I know that a lot of these companies too are trying to make it more, not just eco-conscious, which of course a lot of brands are moving in that direction, but also making it affordable for people, like knowing that a lot of individuals, especially when we had our podcast talking about teledentistry and how you have to go to home health care, living spaces, where they may not have the resources available to them to have like better dental care. And so I think a lot of these companies, especially these innovators in the space, are trying now to make it, also accessible to everybody, which I truly love. So like Crest and a lot of these larger companies are making a lot of their products more available, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, and I like how it's also expanding into, I mean, it already has in healthcare, like in the larger sense, but IoT connected device is kind of new to dental, which is why I wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit because a lot of other parts of the healthcare industries have adopted this and are, they've got a lot of different devices that are connected, but dental is new to this. They're starting to evolve, like the manufacturers are all building this capability into their devices, which is amazing. Because that now means that when a dentist owns a device, they are able to get real time data sent to them so that they can understand what's going on. So, for example, your autoclave breaks down, which that's like universal. There are multiple industries that use autoclaves. So they now have the ability to have the device, if it breaks down or if there's an error or something, it can read that data back to you so you understand what to do. So there could be a functionality where you no longer have to call your technician immediately and say, how do I fix this? This is down and I need it right now. Now there's a world where you're getting the data and okay, based on this error code, you just have to turn it on and off.
Which happens a
It
lot.
does, yeah. So there is that world that is evolving into dental, and it's pretty exciting because now you're going to have information quicker and get a solution right away. And it also helps technicians too to better understand, okay, based on this code that I'm getting, I know from manufacturers' guidelines or what they've recommended, this is how I can fix this device. And it's not a guessing game of what to do next.
Yeah, I mean, think about their productivity levels as well. So they're able to, increase their lead gen, right? Because they can go out and see as many people as they need to, or take care of the equipment, remotely, so that they're able to, essentially pick out their workflow and make it more easy on them, and they can see more people. And so I think it also comes down to the provider as well. Being able to implement some of these IoT devices helps them also see more patients and help more people. And so I think that's also the productivity side is also very, very important.
Well, and I mean, think about it from a consumer's perspective. If I'm walking into my dental office and they're saying, "Oh, you know what? Unfortunately, our equipment just broke down. We can't do that X-ray for you today," or whatever it is, I'm going to be upset about that. You've wasted my time. I don't know if I'm going to come back. Or you've had to cancel with me, and I'm like, I have to get in for whatever I need, and now I'm upset about that too. So it comes down to referrals, like especially in smaller communities. I mean, that's a huge impact on your business. So I think it's definitely worth it. especially if you can fix it in-house because you understand what it means.
Yeah. And I mean, the patient just ultimately wants a good experience when they walk in that door. And so also I think a lot of people are making their decisions off of not only data, but actual like representation of innovation, like within your practice. And so I recently went to my dental office that had a touchscreen sign in experience. I was able to come in and just put my information in. They checked me in versus like waiting in a long line, right? To talk to somebody that's at the front desk. I was able to let them know and let the back office know that I had arrived. It's such a simple thing, but I was able to sit down and be like, okay, I can answer emails for the next 10 minutes until they bring me back. So I'm still productive in my day too, because you have to look at it too from the patient's perspective. A lot of the times, you guys aren't open like Monday through Friday or Friday through Sunday or even Saturday to Sunday. And that's like when our time, like that's when we can go because we work Monday through Friday. So for us, if we have to take time off, to go to a dental appointment, luckily, we work for Uptime Health, so that's kind of okay. But there are instances where it's difficult, like to separate yourself from a meeting or something that you have to do that day. So look at it from the patient's perspective too. Like make it easy for them to just get in and get out so that they can finish out their day. So I think definitely technology just comes into play for a lot of those things.
Yeah, and like I don't know, have you been to an urgent care recently where like you can sign in when you're at home?
Yeah,
It's so nice. Um, like I actually love that feature that they can send me a link and be like, here, you can get on the or check in now.
the wait list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, I don't have to be there for like 15 minutes because they aren't ready for me. And then you get there and they're like, oh, yeah, you're good to go. We'll see you in 2 minutes. And you actually see the doctor in 2 minutes. And it's like, this is a new world for me. Like I'm not used to this experience. And it's a game changer for me because that 15 minutes, like you said, back to your own productivity and frustrations, especially when you're not feeling great. The last thing you want to do is sit in a lobby of an urgent care. You want to talk to that doctor or that PA or whoever it is right away. Like you don't want to sit there and be like, oh God, I can't be here right now. So
Yeah, and think about COVID too. So, like, I think a lot of this innovation and technology came out of COVID because, and I hate to talk about it, COVID, but when you think about it, like you're in that setting and you're sitting in an urgent care. Like for me, I don't care how good they clean that place. Like I know that there's germs everywhere, so I'm like this, like, ooh. And if I'm sick myself, like I don't want to touch anything. So, like, I want to limit my exposure to anybody else if I feel sick, within those waiting rooms. So I love that they're implementing technology there so that they can track their time and all of those things so that you limit the experience, right? Like of meeting with other people or at least sitting next to somebody or touching something. So ultimately, better patient care.
I know, and you don't even think that like you don't even realize the correlation between the two, Like something like checking in online and that scenario you just described, like it makes a huge difference. But back to the devices, another thing I wanted to talk about was recognizing that the manufacturers are only going off of the information they get in order to evolve a device. They are, trying to read the data themselves, but now with the functionality of smart devices, they're now getting real data, which is huge, to tell them how often a device is breaking down, what are the error codes that are occurring over and over again, so that they can improve for the next version of that device. It can also tell you things like, how often are you having to replace that device, so they can kind of keep up with the trends of how often they're going to need to be producing this equipment, which they've got a good handle on that, but it just kind of makes it even more accurate. So it's a huge need for not only the healthcare clinics, but also the manufacturers and the distributors, and all of the data that is involved is just it's a game changer.
Yep. It's just like integrations these days. Everybody is integrating with everybody. And so I think it's only to provide a better experience for the customer or the client or the prospect or the patient, right? So I think no matter what, I think that a lot of people too kind of freak out with connectivity because they're like, oh, everybody's reading my data, blah, blah, blah. But in a sense, no matter how you spin it, the majority of people that are in the space that manufacture products that talk to one another, they're not interested in what you ate for the day, unless you're talking about the tooth, right? Then maybe so.
Maybe.
But really, it's all about making the experience better for you. It's not to listen in on your one-on-one conversations.
God, I hope not.
Hey, but if you have one of these, they're already
I
doing
know, I'm
that.
like, I'm already getting listened to because I could say that I want a salad really bad, and all of a sudden I'm getting ads from like a restaurant that, you know, has amazing salads down the street, and I'm like, that's weird.
That's why for my birthday, that's what I do. I just speak nonsense into my husband's phone.
That's so smart. I need to do that. God, I need to be on your
Yeah.
level. That's so smart. Oh my God.
Well, it's because, hey, I'm the marketing brain. And so I already know how these operate. So I'm just going to use it to my advantage. But yeah, connectivity can be a very, very good thing. And so I always tell people, you know, if your practice is innovative, it's only to help you. It's not to, you know, take anything from you. It's only to give you better service and better care.
Right. I mean, you can't be afraid of evolving and becoming innovative and taking on new technology and software. There's a reason it exists. I mean, you definitely want to vet everything you're going to adapt or adopt because let's cut that part there. You definitely want to evolve everything that you're going to adopt. Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Now I'm off my game there. Hold on. What were you talking
It's okay. I messed up innovator and innovation. So if somebody can somebody cut that out?
about? Okay. What were we talking
Thanks,
about?
Matt.
Shit. What were we talking about?
No, vetting
Oh,
the technology.
you want to vet your technology that you're going to adopt in your clinic 100% because it's going, you know, the reality is whatever you take on is going to take a little bit of effort and a little bit of time. It doesn't matter if the company does everything for you, like Uptime Health, they do everything for you, but but you know, there is still effort from you because you're the one that's going to be using it. So they can do their best and they can provide you with, you know, as much information as they can to build out your new platform or whatever it is that you're adopting, but you are the one that has to customize it. And so just making sure you look into anything that you're, you know, going to innovate with and make sure it's right for you. It's the right timing too, because it's important for you and the company because they're putting a lot of effort into it too. So,
Oh yes. Yes.
okay, but I have to mention like two more things that I learned about that I did not know were things that exist. And I don't think anyone else except me thinks they're cool, but I'm going to say it anyway. So, did you know that when you're in a hospital and your nurse or your doctor comes in and they use the hand sanitizer, there's actually like IoT connected hand sanitizers that like is pulling data on how often you're doing that. Isn't that crazy?
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I think they can also track how often healthcare professionals enter and leave the exam room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like
Okay.
they can tell like, oh, did they leave and did they take hand sanitizer when they left? And like it's wild to me.
It's like Dr. Dunn. You only used one pump.
Yeah,
Go back
you're
and
not
use two pumps, please.
your hands aren't dry enough today. We know what you did.
Oh my God. That's awesome. I had no idea.
Yeah,
See, innovation.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm done. I'm not going to talk about any more tooth mounted sensors. I'm done. That's it. That's all I've got.
Yeah. So I think overall, truly embrace change. If you're a provider, you know, like know that these technologies are around already. Why not implement them? Make your workflow better, make your patient care better. And then as a patient, don't be afraid, right? Adapt to new things and, look into different technologies and, like Taylor said, do your due diligence, make sure that you like the product and that you see it working for you. And just know that it's better patient care always.
Right. That's always the outcome, always, especially in healthcare. Maybe not for my fridge, but All right. Well, if you'd like to learn more about our sponsor, Uptime Health, you can visit uptimehealth.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast or comment below if we did not cover one of the new technologies that you know about. We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, let us know.
Thank you.